Hey guys, I'm Ash.
And I'm Beanie.
And today we're looking at r/Am I the Asshole, where OP gets a little too affectionate and breaks up an entire friend circle. Let's dive right into it.
Okay, this next Reddit story comes from Lightixer. Would I be the asshole if I confronted my sweet mates for taking my period products? I'm rolling up my fucking sleeves for this shit. I'm a college student and I live on a dorm on campus with 5 other girls / AFAB people. I love the inclusion. I've noticed lately someone in my suite has been using my pads without asking me every period. I know they are mine and I'm not the one using them because 1, they opened a new pack, which I did not do, and 2, in the past with an already opened pack, I counted what I had left and noticed it went down. I also see the little orange wrappers in the trash bag when I know I haven't been on my period and the trash is taken out regularly, so it's newly used. The thing is, I feel like I'd be an asshole if I got mad about this because women can't control periods, obviously. And if they can't afford them, I wouldn't want them to go without. However, they never asked me, and I'm the one paying for them and have to buy them more frequently now, and I think it's rude to use someone's stuff without asking. If they used one time for an emergency or something without asking, I get that. But they're just straight up not getting their own pads as they use multiple of mine for their whole period. Pads are expensive and I'm not made of money, and I don't want to have to take them out of the bathroom and inconvenience myself with having to remember to bring one in every time I'm on my period either. I just want to be able to keep them in there without them being stolen. We also just had a sweet meeting where we said people's personal stuff in the bathroom is our personal stuff and not for everyone, since my other sweet mate also had her shampoo used by someone else and felt uncomfortable with that. So it's known stuff in there isn't meant for sharing besides the cleaning products and toilet paper. Would I be the asshole if I confronted them, though, and asked them to get their own pads? It feels mean to be upset about it since it's like you can't control a period. And if you can't afford it, I'd rather you take mine, but without asking feels rude.
I feel like this was definitely for you since I don't know if you can tell, but I lack the coochie and the period. So take it away, Beanie.
No, you would absolutely not be the asshole for at least confronting this person and being like, hey, not cool. Like, they should at the very least, ask you. I mean, I can understand also having like a financial situation where you can't afford them, but I'm gonna play for a devil's advocate here for a little bit and say, maybe they were just embarrassed to ask. It could be a possibility. It's still not an excuse to use your stuff without asking. You would have 0 out of 5 buttholes for that, because honestly, your stuff is being used without your permission and knowledge for some part of it. Like, I would confront somebody too, because that's just not cool. Like, at the very least, just ask. For the person taking your stuff without asking, I'm just gonna give 1.5 out of 5 just for not asking and for just using up a lot of your money. Like, it'd be in a whole different thing if they had permission, but they clearly don't, so.
See, I'm just gonna take this from the whole, like, it's my stuff, and if you're using it, at least tell me about it. Like, of course, I can't relate with the whole pads thing, but, like, if somebody was taking some of mine, like, if I'm using a lot of pens or something, and somebody starts taking some of my pens, and they start getting used, like, okay, maybe you ran out of one, you didn't have time to go to the store, whatever. But if you're just gonna keep taking them, just, like, at least tell me or something. That's kind of the idea that I'm getting from something like this, too. It doesn't really matter what it is. OP, I'm gonna give you 0 out of 5 assholes. I'm gonna give the other person 2 out of 5 assholes. Our next Reddit post is from lowerway7469. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend it didn't look like he knew how to brush his teeth? I, a 19-year-old woman, have been dating my boyfriend, a 20-year-old guy, for almost a year, and there's something about him lately that has been becoming more noticeable. I have a few different versions of OCD, but one of them is smells. Trust me, I'm aware of how goofy it sounds. I hate bad smells. Body odor is so high on that list, I'm a freak about it. I take hygiene so serious, I can't deal with being dirty or smelling dirty. That's just some key background as to why this is so serious to me and why I may have overreacted. He's an avid cannabis user, and I do it with him often. Now, when we started dating, I'd mostly smell the weed on him, and coming from a strict religious home, I knew that was a habit I'd have to snip it in the bud so quickly. So that's all I'd really smell. After he slightly got the clue, he would stop smelling so strongly of bud. I would unfortunately started smelling something odd. I couldn't figure out what it was, but it was with him. And one day, I pointed out he had food on his teeth, and he got it off and stretched open his mouth wide, and to my absolute disgust and horror, he had plaque on the bottom of his teeth that was just bright yellow. Honestly, I was repulsed. After that, I was trying to subtly help it out. Got him matching mouthwashes with me, tongue scrapers, and a water flosser, all under saying, "It's best to get in the same routine now so it's easier to combine our schedules," or whatever lie. I just needed it to get better. But it didn't get better. His teeth are like magnets to food, and food sticks there, and I pointed out to him, he'd just wipe it away. But the more I had to tell him, the more I got fixated on his teeth, and in result, he started to get annoyed, embarrassed, even though I'd tell him privately just to help him out. I understand it could be seen as rude, but honestly, why would I want to kiss someone and end up getting crumbs or particles that have been sitting in there for who knows how long? Anyways, the other day, I pointed out they had some food on his teeth, and he wiped it and noticed his gums were bleeding. "Why'd you wipe so rough?" I said to him. He said he didn't, but then I got that weird smell I always smell around him occasionally, and I asked if he had brushed his gums. He told me he did, and I mentioned usually not brushing your gums often causes them to be very easily antagonized, which he responds, "I know how to brush my teeth." I don't know what came over me, but I said, "Are you sure?" And I couldn't take that back. He immediately asked what I meant. So begrudgingly, I told him about the smell, the plaque, and the sticky feeling he'd leave after kissing my neck, cheek, or my lips. He told me that I was rude for saying he didn't know how to brush his teeth and plaque was just normal. I told him yes, it's normal, but he has yellow plaque that's built up. He said I was focusing too much on something so small, but I told him that cleanliness is important to me. Now he's mad at me, but I don't think I was rude or wrong. Am I the asshole? Honestly, no, I don't think so. Like, I feel like it's important for both of you to, like, regardless of where you come from, being healthy, being clean, all that kind of stuff, and that's just kind of a boundary that you set. You want somebody to be clean, and they're kind of just not really taking care of it. The obvious bleeding of the gums is kind of important and indicative that no, he's not really taking care of his teeth. And the way that he's just like, "I know how to brush my teeth," was just like him trying to be all defensive. He's building a wall. Yeah, you were kind of a little rude for being, "Are you sure?" But I think it's also kind of starting to set in that maybe he's either going to take more responsibility or it's just going to fall apart and you two are going to separate. I'm just going to say, no, you're not the asshole, OP. I'm giving you 0 out of 5.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it does sound like he was getting really defensive about it. I can understand having a hard time with that kind of stuff, because mental health can be a really big issue, but that doesn't sound like that's the case here, especially since he got really defensive on saying that "I know how to brush my teeth." I mean, like, I'm sure you do, but there's still a problem going on, so you need to do something more to help out with that kind of stuff. If your gums are bleeding, chances are you're not doing something right or you're not doing it often enough. So OP gets 0 out of 5 from me too. This next Reddit post is from Throra Banana. Am I the asshole for joking about my boyfriend getting a new girlfriend? My now boyfriend Marcus and I started dating in September when I was a 3rd year in uni and he's a 4th year. When we started dating / talking to each other, Marcus was very open about how he is the type of person who cannot handle being in a long distance relationship. He also let me know that after he graduates in April, he plans on moving across the country to New York City for a 1-year internship. Knowing this, we both agreed to date anyways, citing that we shouldn't let that stop us from exploring a connection. At the time, while I disagreed with his views on long-distance relationships, as I don't particularly mind, but I also saw his point of view. Now, while we are both very much in love and happy, I have been mentally preparing to break up / be broken up with when the time comes. Yesterday, at an end of semester party, one of Marcus's friends asked about his internship, and Marcus told him that it had been confirmed and official. Then, the friend joked that Marcus's friends and I would miss him a lot while he's gone. I was slightly tipsy, so when he said that, I joked about Marcus getting a new girlfriend to fill the void while he's gone. The friend looked a little taken aback and said he was surprised I would be joking about that, which is when I said, I mean, we're gonna break up in April anyways, right? Marcus went really quiet and was distant for the rest of the night. While I texted him to ask about it yesterday, he said he was surprised I was that at peace about us breaking up. I told him that it was only because I knew he didn't like long distance relationships. He just said that's true and that he didn't. I don't know what to do or say. I feel horrible for hurting his feelings, but in my head, that was what was going to happen. Oh, this one's actually really difficult to like figure out because it's like he doesn't like long distance relationships. So like what does he expect is going to happen? Because if he doesn't like a long distance relationship, you can't necessarily quit what you're doing because you're still a third year in uni, so you still have a fourth year to go. He's going away for a whole 1 year internship. I mean, it sounds like unless he wants to do something that he's not comfortable with that long distance relationship, the other option would be at the very least a temporary split up. Was it okay to joke about it? I mean, probably not. It might have been a little distasteful at the time, but honestly, probably like a 0.5 of a butthole, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's just what's making sense in my head, you know?
Honestly, I'm kind of going to mirror what this comment says from East Parking 8340. I don't think you necessarily hurt his feelings, it's more like you bruised his ego. His stated opinion meant that you believed that your relationship would not last longer than the end of his degree, and I'm assuming he hasn't said anything about wanting to be long distance. You went to the relationship knowing it was really only fun and would not be long term, hence your attitude, not the asshole. I'm gonna agree with that there. Like, it has to have been known by pretty much everybody that Marcus did not want anything long distance. He doesn't like it, so of course we're going to just assume that this is common knowledge between everyone. Sure, it might not have been the right time because everyone was drunk, you guys were a little tipsy, and you know, some words got said, but what the words that were said were also true. It's gonna end.
Factual, yeah.
It's gonna end. He doesn't like long distance, so he's gonna break it off. So I'm just gonna say, OP, you get 0 out of 5. I'm gonna say you're not the asshole.
This next Reddit post comes from BittyNutty831. Am I the asshole for laying my head in my friend's lap in front of his fiance? I have a group of friends and we've all been close since high school. Me, 22 female, Kate, 23 female, and Aaron, 22 male, and Tracy, 22 female, and Dan, 23 male.
It's a lot of ands.
That's a lot of ands. Kate and Aaron have been together for 4 years. Tracy and Dan have been together for 4 years, engaged for 1. A little backstory, Tracy and Kate became friends first. Not too long afterward, I became friends with them. Then Tracy and Dan started dating, then Kate and Aaron. We would all hang out and became a close group. I saw them as siblings. We are all affectionate with hugs and group cuddle sessions. Tracy and Dan would even treat me like I was their child. About a year after high school, Tracy and Dan moved a few hours away, while Kate, Aaron, and I stayed in our hometown. We did make an effort to see Tracy and Dan, but Kate and I ended up getting really close the last few years. For Tracy's 22nd birthday, she wanted to go to New York. She wanted the trip to be a double date, her, Dan, Kate, and Aaron, but Kate asked Tracy to invite me as well, so she did. I did not know this until after the trip. The night we got there, Tracy announced that Kate would be her maid of honor, but she did not have room in her wedding party for me. She assured me I'd still be a part of all the fun stuff, and I knew she always felt closer to Kate. One day, we sat down to relax in Central Park. I wanted to lay down, so I laid back, and I ended up laying my head on Dan's leg. I truly did not mean to, but I also did not really think twice about it. But Dan yelled for Tracy, which I did think was odd. Kate then offered me her bag to lie on, so I did. The whole interaction lasted about 30 seconds. Neither of them said anything to me about it or even seemed upset. On her birthday, we were all drinking, and Dan said, "Any guy I'm with would be disappointed with my flat chest." Oh my god, Dan! My man! No! I've always been told the opposite, so I was taken aback. I probably should have let it go, but I was offended and I scolded Dan. Tracy then told me I'm very flat chested and that every person she knows has bigger boobs than me. I did not want to argue, so I let it go. A few weeks after the trip, Tracy talked to Kate and basically told her she felt Kate and I were bad friends to her. She was upset that we didn't focus on her enough, that Kate wanted to invite me when she didn't want me there, and that I had made Dan uncomfortable with the whole flat-chested conversation, but she seemed most upset about me laying my head on Dan's leg. She felt that I was highly inappropriate and that it was really the deal breaker for her. Tracy asked Kate not to tell me about their conversation. I will admit that Kate did tell me, and I did feel really bad. However, I wanted to wait for her to talk to me about it. Then a few months went by and she never said anything. I did reach out, but it never went anywhere. When I invited her to my birthday trip, she instantly rejected. Then, during my birthday trip, she unadded me on all social media. Then Dan unadded me shortly after. Am I the asshole? Girl, get you some new damn friends. No. Not the asshole. I'm gonna go say immediately 0 out of 5 buttholes for you. You were really close friends with these two. And honestly, if you had had those group cuddle sessions before, I personally would have seen no problem with me laying my head on someone's lap, even given the circumstances. But if it made them uncomfortable, they should have voiced that right then and there. Like, they could have been so much nicer about it. Like, hey, I know you're used to this, but since I'm, like, engaged now, I don't really feel comfortable with that. Could you just not do that anymore? Boom, problem solved. They did not need to make this into such a big ordeal, especially going on to full on like insult you, talk shit about you behind your back even. They took it way too far, honestly, in my opinion. So they're gonna get like 3 out of 5 buttholes from me.
I'm kind of inclined to disagree. I think everyone sucks here. See, with me, I think rule of thumb, regardless of how you guys were before you get engaged, like once somebody gets engaged, like you stop anything that you're doing until express permission is given. From what I understand, that wasn't really given after the engagement. Like, yeah, they used to do that kind of stuff when they're in like high school and stuff like that, and you know, when they were a little bit out of their comfort zone in their own lives and stuff. But people get engaged, and you kind of just gotta stop doing that and leave their own lives. Like, sure, if they say that they're still cool with it, by all means, go ahead. But I think the fact that you were so used to doing it without even, thinking twice about it, and like, not asking, not being like, hey, is the stuff that we used to do still cool or not, and just going ahead and doing it when they're engaged, I say that's kind of an asshole move. And I feel like, not bringing it up right away is also kind of an asshole move, because it's just like, you did something wrong, they did something wrong, somebody has to be the bigger person and start the conversation, but you kind of just let it go on and go on and go on, and nobody said anything, and it just broke your guys' bridges. I'm gonna say I'm gonna give you 1 out of 5, and I'm gonna give them kind of like 3 out of 5 as well for just making comments like that. That flat chest comment was rude. The fact that they just didn't talk to you, they didn't bring up anything, they just rejected you and unadded you. It's kind of a bad move. It's just cutting you out for no reason, which granted anybody really has the ability to do, but it's kind of based on the circumstances, it's kind of an asshole move. So I think everyone sucks here.
Alrighty guys, that has been r/am I the asshole. If you liked this video, please hit that like and subscribe button, and if you feel like it, just leave us a comment down below on your thoughts of these posts and our takes on them. With that, we'll see you guys in that next one. Bye everybody!
Bye-bye!
And now,
Dust Bunny
DustBunny bloopers.
bloopers. And today we're looking at r/am I the asshole, where OP.
Yeah, what does OP do?
Things probably, I don't know.
Would I be the asshole if I can confront it? Fuck.
Would I be the asshole if I fuck? Whoever's taking my stuff, I'm gonna fuck you.
Starts taking things.
Oh. Okay. Take it away, Beanie.
No.
Now, my boyfriend smokes a lot. He's an Avis campus.
Ivis Campus, are you casting a fucking spell?
Hey, I took some Harry Potter classes. He's an avid cannabis user, and I do him sometimes. God damn it, not again! Jesus Christ! Can I stop fucking his boyfriend? Her boyfriend? Whose boyfriend am I fucking, and can I stop? Okay. Christmas tree.
Right. Christmas tree.
I didn't know the reenactment of our night last night got into the script. Oh god, what did I pull? A CinemaSins? Ding! But it didn't get better. His teeth are like magnets to food, and fuck.
Now while we were the fuck. Now while we fuck.